Olivoper and Ariansa look at the door. Ariansa nods. The bracelet she's wearing is leading them in that direction. When they open it, the passageway is narrow, continues to be this black stone with shells embedded in it here and there, ammonites and trilobites. It goes down and turns a corner and goes down and turns another corner. Some of the descent is just the ground angling downward like a ramp. Some of the descent is stairs. They proceed cautiously, aware that there was a trap at the entryway to this strange monolith, if that's indeed where they still are. They look for places where shells have been rubbed again. They look for places where the floor looks built in ways that might reveal a trap, but they find neither traps nor other clues. And after what seems like far too long, emerge at what appears to be the ocean on a dark night. They have come out of a cave mouth on a beach, and in front of them is what at first looks like a pier leading off to some large rock, a boulder just off the edge of the beach, sticking up out of the water. But as they get closer, they see that it's not a pier, it's a cylinder that comes out of the sand like some sort of fallen tree or pipe, but it is made out of stone, brickwork. It extends out into the sea, and yes, there is a large rock jutting out of the water, but on the rock is a statue. That's what gave this thing its height. It is a statue like they saw before, of a strange woman with her hands raised. This time she's not wearing a mask, but still around the mouth of the statue are some sort of tendrils or tentacles. And this statue is wearing a necklace. It's not part of the statue as before. A strange necklace on a leather cord, apparently unhurt by age and seawater, of half of a chambered nautilus that seems to catch the light, what little light there is on this moonlit night at this beach, and seems to go around and around, deeper and forever as they look at it, although they are still a bit too far away to fully have this effect happen. Ariansa nods. This is the direction to go, although there does not seem to be anyone here to rescue. Maybe someone has been tied to the statue behind it. Maybe there is some entryway at the base of the rock. They cautiously proceed along this strange brickwork cylinder, almost like some sort of sidewalk, out into the ocean. And then something strange changes. Let's see how well Ariansa makes a wonder check. She can barely sense the difference. But already the geometry of this entire area has been behaving so improperly, and it is worse here. Maybe because of where they are, maybe because of the necklace on the statue, she is unsure. Ariansa says, Olivoper, I don't know if we should touch that necklace, but something is wrong here. Something is calling to me. Olivoper replies, I feel it too, some tugging in my brain. I think that I think the statue being here is good for whoever has designed this strange place. I think if we move it and take it back with us, perhaps we are impeding plans that perhaps that is the heroic thing to do. Ariansa nods. Olivoper is looking at this thing. He is fairly tall as a Therian, but doesn't really want to touch the statue, to climb up to where its neck is. It is larger than he is. They hear footsteps on the beach. And an ogre is coming towards them. He has a staff whose tip is glowing. He's wearing a necklace just like this one. And he has shed whatever disguise he normally wears as an ogre. He seems to be in his true ogre state, unless this is also another ogre that he is disguised as. But as he gets slightly closer to Olivoper's lantern light, they see around his mouth are tendrils or tentacles, a bit longer than those on the statue they've now seen two versions of. Olivoper is rushed into action. As a Therian, he can change shape into that of his favorite pet when he was a teen, which was, in his case, a lovebird. Not a fierce form, but one that flies up, bites through the leather cord of the statue's necklace, and as the necklace falls, Ariansa lets go with one hand of her bow and clasps it. It is dark. The lantern was absorbed into the magic of the therianthropy, but she's been ready and does this. And Olivoper lands and is in his normal form again. The ogre chuckles and calls to them. I do not know who you are or why you are here, but I can sense you have one of the Trollspire orbs. Thank you for bringing it to me. We must run, cries Ariansa. And following either some urge in her mind that's different than Olivoper's or the pulling of the bracelet, she takes his hand and runs sideways along the very edge of that cylinder, as if about to dash into the sea. But instead, the whole world seems to rotate, like that cylinder is the axle. The sea stays still, but the island tilts behind them. That small rock and statue. The beach is twisted and disappearing with the ogre on it. A new rock emerges where the old rock was, and then the land sort of clicks into place. But this rock lacks a statue, and the beach that has taken the place of the other beach as the world rotated is empty of anyone. Olivoper grabs his lantern tightly. Ariansa has the necklace in one hand and her bow in the other. And they run back towards this new beach with its new cave, wondering where it will take them, trying to escape this ogre that seems to want at least one of the things they're carrying. They dash across the beach. It's black sand crunching under their boots. And as they approach the cave, they're alarmed for just a moment And then it is too late. The darkness isn't dispelled by Olivoper's lantern light. There is a creature waiting for them in the cave mouth. Something that is all inky and tentacles, floating or maybe flying, and emanating a darkness that the lantern cannot dispel. Run past it, yells Olivoper, and with his free hand, he draws his sword and swings at this thing as he hopefully runs by. It's a sound hit. Ariansa stuffs the necklace in her pocket and says, "What is this thing?" She's wondering if she's ever heard of such a thing before. She has. Vague memories of a story her parents told her, perhaps to frighten her as a child, or perhaps as some scary story around a campfire. It's a bugaboo, something that was taken by the power named Little Humble from the nightmares of children and released into the world. That child was free of the nightmare, but somewhere far away, they are now dealing with it. At least that's how bugaboos are supposed to work. Of course, here in Sporagia, it is still the time of turbulence, and all sorts of things are not working as they should with the power's dominions. In any case, she had seen how hard Olivoper hit it, and decides that as a bugaboo, she must hit it either harder or softer. She gambles at trying to hit it as hard as she can. Oops, she only has 2 dice. She has 2 quick swings and manages on the second to give it a sound thump. "It's blocking the way," she says. "But hit it lightly, and we will be done with it." Meanwhile, it senses that Olivoper is already injured and tries to attack him. He manages to block a little bit of the damage by holding up his sturdy lantern, but that thick tentacle, not suckered like an octopus, just slimy and good for clubbing its foes, soundly impacts him. Oh, it knocks him to his knees briefly. That gives Ariansa a chance to come in and with a quick light thrust banishes this nightmare creature. Olivoper's lantern light again illuminates the passageway in front of them, and they run, this time up, 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 not stopping to look for secret doors or traps. They just want to get out of here. And Ariansa is shouting something, but Olivoper isn't paying too much attention. They get back to that room at the top of the stairs, but they find that they are emerging from the other door somehow. As they come in and close the door behind them, they haul on one of the tables and use it to block that door, and then they block the second door, the one they used to first descend. They look at each other for a moment. And Ariansa then articulates what she was having trouble saying as they were rushing up the passageway from whatever ocean that was. The bracelet, she almost hollers at Olivoper. The bracelet. What about it? He asks. The monster, the inky tentacle monster. It was pulling towards. That was him. That was what was left of the errant. As we fled, I was pulled backwards. As it disappeared, the pull lessened. Olivoper has no reply. How could a wandering hero be changed into a nightmare monster? But nothing here makes sense. They run towards the entryway, praying that whatever trap they had disarmed as they entered is still inactive. Then they clamber down almost slide down the side of this four-sided pyramid obsidian monolith and emerge back into the mega basement underneath Arlinac town through that same door guarded by that same witch. She cackles as they burst through out of breath and says, "You are back, you are back. I did not expect it. Did you have a good story? I am still here, so the story must not be done. I feel a pulling, though. I think I am needed elsewhere." And Ariansa says, "Tell us, witch, what is this all about? That was not a real place, it seemed like. But it sure was. I do not understand." And the witch says, "There are ogres that worship things that are very, very old, but not powers. But perhaps, as these times are turbulent, they have their uses as objects of worship. Beware those ogres, especially now that they know who you are." And she waves one hand in an arc above her head, and a ocean-smelling portal opens behind her. She steps back into it and is gone. Ariansa and Olivoper return to discretion and valor. There they are met by their superior, who takes a debriefing of the mission and helps them secure, for now, both the orb and that strange necklace pendant in a vault that discretion and valor keeps in the bank of Arlinac town. The bank that is also a temple to Malut, guarded by a dragon and Malut's own power. They will be safe there, they are told. But I think you will retrieve them soon. I have a feeling someone else will ask discretion and valor to do a related job in the days to come. These things are never just coincidences. Our protagonists go to an outdoor restaurant, wanting the sun on their faces as they eat. They say goodbye, but they are both plagued that night by similar dreams of ogres with deformed faces and something that lurks deep, deep in the ocean That's very old.